if you're listening to this podcast, chances are you've already dipped your toe into the law of attraction. Maybe you've made a vision board. Maybe you have, I don't know, written affirmations 222 times on February 22nd, or drank your full moon water, whispered your desires into the cosmic suggestion box. And sometimes it worked, and sometimes it didn't. And so, what gives? And also, I'm not dissing those things. I think those things have a place. They're kind of like permission slips. You're giving yourself permission to manifest the thing and think about the thing and be excited about the thing. So keep doing that if it works for you. But I do think most of what people are taught about manifesting or the law of attraction, or what Stephanie and I often call just reality creation, is incomplete. It leans pretty heavily on wishful thinking, but like wishful thinking on steroids, and quietly encourages, well, at least I think it seems to do this, a lot of spiritual and emotional bypassing. Like, oh no, I'm not allowed to feel bad. I have to fake that I'm, feeling good all the time. And actually that's going to keep you stuck. And so today's episode is the law of attraction might be keeping you stuck. The science of manifestation without the BS. Because here's the truth. You are already manifesting all day, every day, no breaks, no off switch. You just weren't handed the owner's manual. And I think Stephanie agrees with me on that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
So, hey, everyone, I'm Kryssa Marie Bowman.
And I'm Stephanie Conkle.
And we're Two Woke Chics. This is a podcast where we explore the deeper architecture of life, just pulling back the curtain on the systems, the stories, the subconscious patterns, and the BS shaping our lives.
And we talk about everything from relationships and culture to the brain, the nervous system, and what might exist beyond both. Nothing is off the table.
Nope. So if you have ever felt like there's more going on beneath the surface of reality and you would like to explore it and also laugh about it, then you are in the right place. This is our very first episode. Let's do some introductions. Who we are and why are we doing this podcast? Because a podcast like this isn't born from a comfort zone where everything works perfectly, especially for those of us that have kind of been exploring the deeper patterns of this matrix and just wanting to see what else is going on. But before we get into all of that, let me introduce you to my good friend and brilliant colleague, and honestly, one of my favorite people on the planet and possibly the whole galaxy, Miss Stephanie Conkle. Stephanie is a board certified clinical hypnotherapist, hypnosis instructor, and the creator of Profound Somnambulism Protocol. Say that 5 times fast. Also, PSP is the faster way to say that. She has over 18 years of experience. She's internationally recognized for her work in guiding people into deep transformative states of trance, where the subconscious mind reveals insight, clarity, and lasting change. And Stephanie helps folks all around the world access deeper levels of intelligence and unlock powerful breakthroughs. I first met you, Stephanie. I'm going to say 2022, but I think honestly it might have been a little earlier than that. But that was when we definitely tried to at least meet each other at HypnoThoughts Live in Las Vegas, which is this huge hypnosis conference that happens every July in Vegas. And it was so funny because we kept missing each other. And like we were texting each other, like, where are you going to be? I want to meet you. And then we would be in the same physical room and still not find each other. Like that was just so weird.
No, we had to wait for divine timing to make it happen.
Yeah, totally. But I had already become a huge fan of yours, especially because of that Profound Somnambulism Protocol training. And when I took that training, I discovered that you held a missing element, a key that to something that I had been quietly working on. And there was like one piece that I was like, oh, there's just one thing that's not quite working here. And then I took that training because my higher self led me to it. And I was like, there it is. That's the key. That's it. So I reached out to you to see if I could use that in my Quantum Journeys Hypnosis Academy. And you said yes. And I think that was when the conversation really began with us. And it never really stopped, did it?
It really didn't. And Kryssa, also my favorite person and soul sister, is also a board certified hypnotherapist, educator, author, and founder of Quantum Journeys Hypnosis Academy. Like me, her work lives at the intersection of neuroscience and consciousness, blending clinical hypnosis with explorations of multidimensional awareness, intuition, and the deeper architecture of the human experience. Kryssa is known for saying the quiet parts out loud, challenging outdated systems, and helping people reclaim sovereignty over their minds, bodies, and realities.
And we started this podcast because we have both been noticing things. We've been talking about them, patterns that don't quite add up, systems that benefit some while completely draining others. I'm sure members of our audience will be like, moments where we just looked at each other and said, wait, why is this just accepted as normal? So, Two Woke Chics is what happens when two out of the box hypnotherapists who are both teetering on the edge of the scientific and the spiritual sit down and start pulling on those threads together and realizing that we just can't seem to stop.
Yep. So, we're bringing this conversation to you and talking about the subconscious patterns running your life and the invisible architecture behind it all that is shaping our culture, our relationships, our own sense of power, and our identity.
And yes, probably some near death experiences, aliens, parallel timelines, and whatever else decides to show up for us. Some conversations will be deep, and some will for sure be hilarious, or at least it will be for us. And some might make you a little uncomfortable, but hopefully in the best possible way.
But all of them are designed to make you think differently about the reality you're living in and creating. I'm so excited.
Yes, which is the perfect segue in today's topic when we're talking about the reality that you're living and creating, because today's topic is the law of attraction might be keeping you stuck, the science of manifestation without the BS. And I want to start with something that I think a lot of people have experienced, but almost no one really explains in a way that makes sense. Have you ever just had one of those days where everything feels off?
Yes, and the wild part is nothing objectively different is happening, but your experience of everything is completely different.
Right. Like even if you start off in what you think is a pretty good mood, but then one little thing happens and suddenly the whole day goes downhill and people are short with you, things just aren't landing, you find yourself reading into every little interaction and it feels like the entire world is confirming that something went wrong. And most people would call that a bad day. Or they might even say, I must have manifested this, which they're not wrong, but they're also not entirely right. So what's actually happening is way more interesting, right? And we want to explain it in a way that will be more empowering.
Right. And this is because your brain is not passively observing reality, it's actually actively predicting it
and creating it. Yes, your brain is basically running a prediction loop based on past experiences and then filtering what you notice to match that prediction. So if your system is expecting rejection, tension, disconnection, conflict, it will literally highlight evidence of those things all day long.
And it will totally ignore anything that doesn't match it.
Right. Good old reticular activating system. Mm-hmm. So it's not that you're manifesting wrong. It's just that your brain is running an old code. And once you understand that, you can actually start changing it in a way that isn't just repeating the same patterns or hoping that if you throw enough affirmations at it, it will change things. So I mentioned the reticular activating system, or the RAS. And I know this is something that Stephanie works with and is very passionate about. So Stephanie, tell us, what is the RAS?
Information that your brain takes in has to be filtered out just so we can survive, right? Just get through
right. Yeah, because if we actually perceived everything that's really happening in our environment, every moment of every day,
we would not be able to survive. And why humans are so adaptable is because we're not actually seeing real reality for what it actually is. Because if we did see it for what it actually is, then we would not be able to survive it.
Right. We might even go crazy or be labeled as such.
Yeah, for sure.
I first noticed, and I didn't know it was the reticular activating system, but here's my first real aha moment. Was when I was pregnant with twins. And this was in Bozeman, Montana. And I started noticing twins everywhere. And I was like, is there something in the water? What is going on with this? Why are there so many twins everywhere? And it turns out, now I know, years later, that no, there weren't like a higher incidence of twins or multiple births there. It's just that my reticular activating system was focused on that because I was pregnant with twins. And then bam, now I'm noticing them everywhere.
Right. And I never see twins in the wild. I only see them on television. I never see them just in life. And it's not that they're not there. I just don't notice them.
Which is the important component of the reticular activating system that I don't think gets enough attention, which is that it's not just a highlighting mechanism, it's a deleting mechanism, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's both. It's deleting, like we said, so much more of reality than it is highlighting. And that makes sense, right? Because, like, ancient early man, we needed to be able to tell the difference between a rustle in the tall grass on the savannah and a lion stalking us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the default, of course, is to perceive threats because
Right.
we're going to assume it's the lion just in case. Just in case.
Right. And so we just ignore all of the like little daily, everyday rituals that we do that we know is safe because we don't have to pay attention to those. We have far bigger issues that we need to pay attention to. So just like how many doors do you walk in and out of every day, Kryssa? Like all the
I
time.
don't even think I could count that,
Right.
like, yeah.
So if every time you had to open a door, you had to think about it and really pay attention to it, like how much slower would your life be and how much more danger would that put you in?
Like if I had to actually stop and go like, okay, stand in front of door, step
Mm-hmm.
2, grab doorknob, step 3, turn doorknobs, like,
Exactly.
yeah, oh my gosh, that's
Right.
too much.
And it's weird because sometimes you will come to a door, like in a store, where you think you're supposed to push it, but you're really supposed to pull it. So they have to put a sign there that says pull
Right.
because everybody thinks you're supposed to push it because it's not behaving the way that doors should behave
Right.
in the way that the patterning system of our brain has recognized.
Yeah. Yep. So the reticular activating system performs an incredible function that is just our entire survival depends on it. But there's another part of the system that comes in shortly after that. So first we have the prediction loop because we talked about like prediction processing, like we predict whatever's going to happen in the future based on what's happened in the past. So we have that prediction, right? Then we have the reticular activating system, which is deleting all of the things that don't fit that prediction, right?
Right.
That thing that we're like looking for, whether we mean to or not. And then we have confirmation bias. This is like the third part of the system where when we do see the thing that we were predicting, expecting to see in the world, we go, aha, see, I knew it. I knew it. And so like an example that I often use is one that I think we can all kind of get down with. And that is driving in your car and some jerk cuts you off. And now you're like, oh man, drivers be crazy. Like everybody's just a terrible driver. But we're kind of not even thinking about the fact that there's all these other cars on the road that are not being crazy, that are not being aggressive, that are just trying to get from point A to point B. Because now we're focused on the fact that we just got cut off and our nervous system went into that and now we're noticing all the bad drivers. And throughout the day, every time we get in the car, our prediction processing is going to expect that to happen. Then it's going to delete everything else. And then when it finds that, it's going to confirm, yep, drivers be crazy.
Yep. And so we're just focused on the bad drivers and it just makes us feel like nobody is a good driver, right?
But the reality is that most of the drivers are okay.
Yeah, the reality is they're just doing what they're doing and they're not really they're not trying to cut you off.
Which we're not even noticing them.
We're not even noticing them.
Yeah,
I do have a story about that if you want me to tell it.
Yeah, totally. I want to hear it.
Okay, about a time when I think I accidentally cut someone off. I don't even remember doing it, but so I was driving down the interstate and I got off on the exit ramp, and I was. I think I'd gotten in the wrong lane and I moved over a lane. I must have cut off the lady behind me. I didn't mean to. I wasn't even like paying attention to that. So this day I had decided that I was going to practice the law of love all day. I was just gonna
Well, I
love
mean, that's a great way
everyone.
to start the day. Yeah. What a great
Right.
intention.
Right. And
Yep.
that I set my attention for that. I was happy. When I was driving, I think I had the radio on. I was singing. I was just, just feeling great and getting my energy high. But then then I think the universe wanted to test me on this because I said I was going to practice it. Anyway, what happened
It was
was,
like, are you sure, Stephanie? Are you
yeah, are you
sure? Is it just all about the love? Really? Let's see how you do with this love.
exactly,
Love
exactly.
this.
Right. And Krista knows the story. She knows what I'm about to say. This is hilarious. Um, at the time, it wasn't hilarious. It's hilarious to look back at now. But when we get when we pulled up to the stoplight, I had gotten into the left turning lane, and then she pulled right up beside me. She rolled down her window. No, I guess she already had her window rolled down. She was smoking. But what she did was she said something nasty to me. I don't know what she said, but she flicked her cigarette ash on my car
It was like the exclamation point to
deliberately,
whatever it was
right?
she said.
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah. So my heart full of love went from all lovey dovey to you bitch.
Heart full of
Right.
bitch.
Right. uh, I don't think I flicked her off. Um, Maybe that was me practicing the law of love. I didn't flick her off,
There
but
you go. Yeah. You just accepted it. Like,
but
well, that just
yeah,
happened.
yeah, exactly. And so, just to point out that I'm sure she was thinking, drivers be crazy, and
Right.
oh, here's the proof, right? And I don't know how many drivers had pissed her off before me,
Right.
for her to do something like that.
Yeah, I imagine she probably wasn't having a very good morning. And then you became the confirmation bias to prove to her that it was
Exactly.
a pretty shitty day.
Exactly. And which turned my day shitty, of course, but I know now that we can change, we have more control over our emotions than that.
Well, and also like we're transmitting how we're feeling, right? Not just in our facial gestures, but in our energy. And I have an example, it's a hypothetical example, but I use this with my clients that have like social anxiety issues, right?
Mhm.
So, can you remember being a teenager and being invited to a party? Did that ever happen? Okay. Now, I was the kind of
Not
teenager,
often, but
right? Yeah. I was the kind of
you were
teenager.
probably more popular than I was. But
No,
yeah.
actually, I was pretty introverted.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
And so I had, it wasn't crippling social anxiety, but I
Mhm.
always felt like an outcast, probably because I was.
Same.
So it wasn't just like I felt that way. I mean,
Same.
I was raised by new age hippies, and
Yeah.
like I didn't ever really feel like I fit in. But
Well, I was raised by very strict Catholics, and I didn't feel like I fit in.
okay, so
So
maybe nobody feels like they fit in.
yeah,
But
exactly.
so I would get obviously nervous, a little apprehensive, but sometimes I could also get excited about it and like kind of looking forward to it. And so this is the example I use is like if you show up to a party and you're just expecting that people aren't going to want to talk to you, that
Mm.
you're going to be rejected, that no, you're not going to have anything to say, that people might be making fun of you, maybe even behind your back or whatever, then
Yeah.
you're going to walk in with your shoulders kind of down and looking down. And that's transmitting to all those other
Mhm.
kids, this person wants to be left alone.
Right.
At best, it could also be transmitting this person's a jerk because they don't know what's happening internally. They just know that you're putting off this like energy of like, I'm
Yes.
expecting bad things. And
Yes.
they don't want to participate in that. Right.
Yeah.
But if you show up to that same party with like well, I don't know what's going to happen, but it could be good. Instead of
Oh,
catastrophizing, instead of
right.
dress rehearsing tragedy, dress rehearsing like it could go really good. And then you're
Yeah.
putting out this energy of like you're looking up and you're kind of curious and like people are going to be naturally drawn to you because
Right.
that is the kind of energy that magnetizes. Whatever the expectation is, you're going to end up creating it
Yes.
by accident. And then as soon as that happens, you're going to confirm it and be like, see, I knew I was going to have a bad time, or see, I knew it was going to be exciting.
Right. I have a good example
Yeah.
of that too, for when I was in high school. And by the way, I think of this, a lot of people actually take up drinking when they become adults. So they get that liquid courage
Mm,
to go in and
yep.
talk to people. That's
Because it
probably,
lowers the inhibitions and just makes you feel
lowers the
like
inner.
I could do this. Yeah.
Right. Because I remember as an adult, it was so much easier for me to go to a party and drink and feel like I'm a part of everyone than when I was younger, which can be dangerous. So,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure, or lead to alcoholism or whatever.
Well, it does
But it,
suppress anxiety in the moment,
yeah,
but long-term use, as we know, increases anxiety. So
right.
not a great
Not a
coping
great, right,
mechanism.
right. And I'm not suggesting to anyone to use that method.
No, but that is you're absolutely valid that is I think why a lot of young adults
Mhm.
start drinking is because of that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Just to feel like they fit in better. And but anyways, when I was in high school, this was during a period when I was being bullied um by boys and girls, right? And I don't know what energy I was putting out, but I was being bullied. And so anything people were saying to me, I stopped believing was true. Like if they said something nice about me or to me, I felt like they were making fun of me. I wasn't sure. I pretty
Oh,
much
so you thought
thought
it was
that
like
they were,
sarcasm?
or just like, let's just pick on Stephanie Day or whatever, because that had
Mm-hmm.
happened to me before where people were acting like
But
they
that
were
was part
nice.
of your history. So then you were predicting that it
That
would
was a part of
happen
my
in the
history.
future.
And
Mm-hmm.
right. And at this point, there was this one girl, which I won't get into the story. Well, maybe I will. Her name also was Stephanie. I don't know where she is now. I have forgiven her. um,
Stephanie, if
but
you're out there, feel free to drop a comment in the YouTube
there you go. Yeah.
comments.
We'll go have coffee. um, but she was in some classes of mine, so I couldn't get away from her. And she just bullied me all the time until the point where I got courage because she she pulled my vest. And back in the 90s, we had these like vests were cool and whatever. And I had like the silk vest on, and I had saved up my money. I paid for it myself, and I was trying to, look nice and everything, because you would also get bullied for your if you weren't wearing the right clothes at the school that I
Mm-hmm,
went
yep.
to. I mean, people were really cruel there. Anyway, she like grabbed me and pulled my vest, and I just turned around and I just slapped her and screamed in her face. And then she never touched me again. She
Well,
never bullied me again. She
yeah.
never said anything to me again. Same thing with a guy who kept grabbing my ass. He just kept grabbing my ass and like
Because
he
your
grabbed
energy changed from being prey and her
right.
energy went like, oh, well, if you're not prey,
Yeah.
then I can't be the predator.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah.
Same thing with that dude. I just slapped him and then he just like, I mean, and I just did it without thinking. I just turned around, just slapped him as hard as I could. And then I'm not promoting violence, but but
Just
I know how
kidding.
to stop a bully, right? But okay, so I'm
But
at
yeah, so
the
your whole energy changed because you changed your mindset, which shifted what you're transmitting, and then it affected the people in
right,
your environment and it changed their way of responding to you.
right. But
Right.
so I'm at my locker one morning or whatever, and there's this cute guy who came up to me and he was saying some nice words. I can't remember what he was saying. And he wasn't like the most popular guy in the school, but he was really cute. I had a little bit of a crush on him. And um I got shy. I didn't know what to say, and I wasn't sure if he was making fun of me. But he was like, "Oh, you're not going to talk to me? You're a snob." Right? And then like walked away from me. And so what he thought I was being snobby and just like a bitch that didn't want to talk to him. And I would be like, "No, no, I just was scared."
I
You
actually
know?
have an experience just like
So,
that, but from the other side with this neighbor. I was a single mom, so I always felt like I was being judged by all the other moms at the school. I was a
mhm.
young single mom too. I was younger than most of the
Yeah.
other ones. And I'm sure I was to some degree by some of them, but I didn't know which one. So I just assumed everybody. Anyway, there was this other woman, not a single mom, but our kids were the same age, went to the same
Mhm.
school. So we were at a lot of the same functions. And she, like, whenever I would make eye contact with her, she would turn away or I would smile at her
Hmm.
and she would like kind of just put her head down. kind of avoid me. And I was like, oh man, what a jerk. Like I can't,
Yeah.
what a judgmental jerk. Anyway, like a year goes by and we have a mutual friend. And I told the mutual friend about this, and she was like, oh no, she's just painfully shy. She's so
Mm.
shy that when somebody
Yeah.
looks at her, she just like starts to like freak out
Yeah.
inside. And then I felt so bad that I had assumed that she was judging me. And
Right.
I remember thinking in that moment, like, I became pretty aware of it too. I was like, wow, so we preemptively judge others because we think that they're going to be judging us or are judging us. So
Mm-hmm.
who's the actual asshole in this scenario? Right?
Right.
It's
Right.
me. I'm the one who's judging me through their perception and judging her for judging me. But meanwhile,
Right.
turns out she wasn't judging me at
She
all.
wasn't judging
Right.
at all. She was probably just autistic, really.
And
So,
so like that's part of that whole manifestation thing. Like I think that's the part that doesn't get talked about enough, is that
mhm.
what is it that we're transmitting? So like
Yeah.
breaking it down to just so we have the prediction, we have the reticular activating system, we have the confirmation bias, and then we also have the energy that we're putting out and, you know, kind of receiving back. And when we put all those things together, it's like this feedback loop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to really break out of that is to have a different mindset, to shift out at any point. I feel like you can shift with your prediction, you can shift your reticular activating system, you can shift the confirmation bias you're looking for, you can shift the energy that you are putting out. But you have to break out of some part of that in order to create a new reality. And I'm just going to give an example of like, I think most people can probably resonate with this, but like let's say you desperately need money and you maybe read The Secret, right? That book about the law of attraction, or maybe you listen to a podcast on manifestation. Hello. And you're like, okay, I'm going to use all of these manifestation tools, the law of attraction, the whatever, so I can bring some money in. But what you're actually focused on isn't bringing money in. You're focused on the fact that you don't have it. You're focused on the lack of the money,
Exactly.
the scarcity, and that fear is what you're
And you're
transmitting out there.
right. And you're feeling that energy of, I don't have enough. Right.
Right. Yep. And if you could, at that moment, step out of that little feedback loop and just start daydreaming about what life would be like if you did, not like desperately, oh my God, I need this or life's going to fall
Mm-hmm.
apart. Cause that's the opposite, right? Because what is that phrase? We're not manifesting what we want, we manifest who we are. So we have to step into this mindset, this energetic shift, this
Yeah.
prediction, this everything that's like, let's just find out what it's like. And it doesn't have to be a big serious thing, like just daydreaming about it, just daydreaming, like, you know, wouldn't it be so cool if, and then I could do this, and like, oh, that would be so fun. And I bet that we both have examples where we manifested something
Yeah.
just by kind of daydreaming about it, thinking about it, maybe like pretending it.
Absolutely. So I definitely have a
I
manifesting
thought you
story
might.
for you. I do. It's kind of cool.
Let's hear it, Stephanie.
So I actually won a car. And
Wow.
I manifested it. And I had to sort of reverse engineer to see what I did, but I will share this story with you, and I'll try
Did
to
you
make it.
know at the time that you were manifesting it? Or is this like in hindsight, you
Okay,
realized
so at
what
the
you had done?
time, I had just learned about the law of
Okay.
attraction. I think when Oprah came out with it, you're right, The
Was it
Secret
the
or
late 90s or something?
it's something,
Early
yeah, like
2000s? Yeah.
something like that,
Yeah,
late
yeah.
night, early 2000s, and it resonated with me too. Um, so anyway, one night, I am huge and pregnant with my son. I have a baby already, and my sister is at my house helping me with my baby. But it's late at night. I think it was about 11 o'clock. And my sister was a part of the sweepstaking club where they would fill out sweepstaking. They're called blanks or forms, and they would mail them in
I
because
didn't even know that that was a thing, like
it is
sweepstaking club. It's
it's
kind
a,
of like
that's
that
right.
movie about the coupon clipping women. Is it kind of like that? But like
Yeah,
everybody
she
gets
did.
together
She
to
did
do
that too,
sweepstakes. Oh, wow.
actually.
Wow,
Yeah,
wow, wow.
yeah.
Okay.
So I had done some sweepstaking with her in the past, and that is a lot of if you don't have to pay for anything as part of the official rules of sweepstaking. You do not have to buy a thing, okay? But you do have to follow the rules, and they make the rules very tricky. So you have to look at this, get the magnifying glass out, and look at the small print, so you can you have to send your name and your address to this certain address in a certain size of envelope.
Oh,
Sometimes it's
can't
can
just
only
be
be
any
a,
old envelope.
and it can't be any old envelope. Usually it's a number 10. For those who are sweepstakers, you know what I'm talking about. It's a number 10 envelope, but not always. Sometimes you can decorate the envelope, sometimes you can't. Um, so on this particular night, you have to just write your address, your name and address over and over and over again till your hands start cramping, because it's also
Mhm.
a numbers game. The more entries you can send in, the better odds you have of
Right.
winning.
That makes sense.
There's also a rule on how many times you can enter. It depends on the sweepstake. So sometimes you can enter daily. Sometimes they limit you to like maybe 10 entries or whatever. So you have to read the rules. And so I didn't really want to sweepstake with her this night because I was laying on the couch. I'm huge. I'm like, 7 or 8 months pregnant with my son. And, just kind of, I don't know if I was watching TV or whatever. I was just chilling. But she asked me to come and do that with her. And it's like, all right, she's my sister and she's helping me with the baby. And so I'll keep her company, but not really expecting I'm gonna win anything. I'll just be there keeping her company and I'll fill these out and we'll talk and chat. And we were. Um, and then there was this one sweepstake that you could win for a trip to Miami, uh, a trip to the NASCAR game down there. Um, and while you're there, then you would have a 1 in 6 chance of winning a car, which would be a Ford Mustang GT. That would be the
Oh,
grand
wow. A
prize,
Ford
right?
Mustang GT.
Yeah,
Nice. I'm not even a
absolutely.
car person, but I just started to drool a little.
It's very, very nice. I know. I love that car. I wish I could have kept it. I actually
You didn't even keep
traded it
it?
in. No, because at this time, I was pregnant with my second child. I ended up having 3 children total, and I needed a
Yeah.
minivan. I
Yep.
couldn't fit the car seat into the sports car.
You needed the mom vehicle. I get it. I get it.
I just needed the mom vehicle at that time. Now that would be nice to have.
Right.
Now
Right.
that my kids are grown. But anyway, um, so I'm just filling out the blank and we're just laughing, having a good time. And she had some stickers of some race cars. And so I'm just took those stickers and I just stuck them all over my envelopes, right? Went to bed, didn't think anything of it. Maybe about 2 weeks later, um, FedEx comes to my door with an affidavit. By the way, this is the way you know that you've actually won a sweepstake. You'll have to sign an affidavit, and
Oh.
FedEx will come to your door. Um, so, anyways,
So, but you're
I
at that point, it's just like you're one of a few, right?
yeah. So at this point, I had won the trip to Miami and
Oh, okay.
the NASCAR race. Right, I'd won that, so I was already a winner in that aspect. But
Nice.
I was also in the running.
Okay.
For
So then you got entered into the
uh
Mustang
huh.
thing. Okay. Gotcha.
So
Right.
6 of us won the trip to Miami, like just 6 random people. And then out of the 6, then we had the opportunity to draw a key from a hat to win a car.
So let me ask you something though
Mhm.
regarding manifesting.
Sure.
Okay. So as you're filling out the sweepstakes, you're really
Mhm.
just doing it like on a lark. Like, sure,
Yeah.
I'll keep you company and
Yeah.
I'm gonna just put these funny little stickers on and like da 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 da. So like maybe somewhere you're having this little daydream about it, but it wasn't
I was
anything
daydreaming
serious.
it. I let go of the outcome.
Right. It wasn't like, oh my God, we need this. It was just like let's just see what happens.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Just,
I think that's
maybe
important to point out.
for sure. And I knew that it could happen. My sister had won sweepstakes before, like shopping sprees and things like that. So I knew that it was
I might need to
possible.
look into this
Yeah.
like sweepstaking thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually pretty fun. I'll send you more information on it if you
Yeah.
want. So now I know that I'm in the running for this Mustang, right? Which I've actually have always wanted a Mustang. Like that was the sports car that I did want if I were to have a sports
Before
car.
you had kids.
Yeah, before I had kids. Like either that or a Jaguar. Either a Mustang or a
Oh,
Jaguar.
Jaguar is also my dream car.
Those are
Yeah.
like the 2 cars that I wanted. Okay.
So you
So
already had that as like a back burner daydream that you'd had in the
yeah, I
past was
had
this
already
Mustang. Yeah.
daydreamed about
Mhm.
that in the
Yep.
past, but at this point now I know about the secret and the law of attraction, and so I go online and I find a Mustang and I print it out and I hang it on my mirror so that I can see it every day. I
Now, were
don't
you
even
focusing heavily on it, or was it just sort of
no,
there, like
no, and that's the thing.
peripheral?
It was
Yeah.
just there. My subconscious was picking up on it,
Yep.
but I was so busy with
But that's exactly
every
how I
yeah.
teach my clients to retrain their reticular activating system, is just to
Yeah.
have something that brings you some joy, a picture of it or the
Right.
word of it or whatever. And you don't have to focus on it. Just have it somewhere that like you
Right.
pass by it and it's there
Yeah, like
peripherally.
I may have focused on it that first day when I printed it
Right.
out and I daydreamed about it again. I taped
But
it
then
to
your reticular activating system
yeah,
does the rest of the work by like,
that's right.
oh, Stephanie's interested in this. Let's go find more.
Yeah, and then I let it go because it's like, hey,
Yeah.
I still have a trip to the beach and
Yeah.
whatever.
You've already won.
I wasn't really into NASCAR, but whatever. I want it. I'll go.
But I imagine also you had a sense of gratitude about that because you're like, look, I already won this. So like it'd be cool if I won
Oh
the other thing. But
yeah,
I'm so grateful
absolutely.
that I
Because
won
I was
this.
already a winner no matter what.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I was already a winner. All right. So now it's time to fly to Miami, and my now ex-husband was sitting next to me, and his name is John. I was like, all right, John, we are only going to Miami to pick up my car, right? Our car, my car, whatever. Like we're just going there to get the car. That's the main reason for this trip, is to go get the car because I want it. And I was sort of training him. We have to act like I've already
Like it's
won this
already a done
car.
deal.
Like
Yeah.
we're just going to get it. Like, yes, we like to going to the beach. That's nice. We're not here for a beach trip. We're here to pick up my car, basically. So we were just acting like it was already ours. Then it was time to go to the NASCAR race with the other 5 contestants. And
Mm-hmm.
we all have to go in this like van together. And when we're riding in the van, the PR lady was asking us all of these questions and about how we found out about the sweepstakes and blah blah blah. And then she said, "All right, so who's going to win the car?" And nobody said anything
Nobody
except for
claimed
me.
it.
I claimed
Ah,
it. I
yes.
said, "Oh, I am. I'm winning it." And nobody. And I kind of looked behind me, and people,
And
the
I
other
feel like right
passengers.
then the universe was like, oh, look, she claimed it.
Yeah, yeah. I did kind of wait a beat to see if anybody else would say anything, and they didn't. So I jumped in and I said,
Yes.
"Oh, it's mine." And everybody kind of chuckled or
I have
whatever.
this like little visual in my head of all of your guides and helpers, like, oh, she claimed it. Okay, guys, hurry
Yeah,
up. We got to start like moving everything out of the way, get
right.
the obstacles out of the way so that she can get this car. And so
Yeah,
like
and
they're doing all this work on the other
the
side.
other people were probably wishing and hoping for it.
Right. But
Okay, but
it's
I
already yours.
claimed it. It's like it's
Right.
mine. Oh, it's mine. So I put that out.
And wishing and
Trusted that it was
hoping
mine.
actually doesn't manifest.
No,
That's
wishing and
not what
hoping does
manifests.
not.
Mm-mm.
I mean, you really have to act as if you already have it.
Yep. Or
You,
also like that you kind of don't care whether you have it or not. Like, oh, it'd be
that
so
too.
fun, but like,
That too.
that's kind
And
yeah.
I was also telling people, oh, well, I'm probably going to win the car because I'm the one that's 8 months pregnant and I don't need the sports car. So I'll probably win it.
Right, right.
So, of course, it's going to be the woman who's pregnant. Right. And I wanted them to think that, of course, the woman who's pregnant is going to win this, not the guy who was like a lifelong NASCAR fan. Not that dude. Right. But,
Yeah.
the mom who is pregnant. So we get to the Ford dealership and they've got the car ready for us. And it's a key draw. And there are 6 of us. So they had us draw a number first. We had to draw a number out of a hat. And the numbers were 1 through 6. And that was to see who would go first in the key draw. I didn't know what these numbers were at what we were pulling at the time, but I was saying 8, 8, 8, because 8 is my lucky number.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also like the infinity symbol on its
Right. Yeah, yeah,
side.
yeah. Yep.
So I'm just going like 8. I'm just focusing on 8 and nothing else. And I reach in and I pull the number 1, which was the best number I could have drawn because that meant that I got to go first. Okay. There wasn't a number 8. It was only 1 through 6.
Right. Okay. Yep.
But I got the number 1. Now, at a sweepstaking meeting that my sister had been to, there are people who have won multiple cars in these meetings. And one person said, well, if you ever have a sweepstakes where you get to pick a key out of a hat, then what you do is you feel around for the key that is different. The
Because the
one
other
that,
ones are like dummy keys. They probably don't have all the
yes,
like
right.
ridging and
Or
stuff. Yeah.
actually the one, no, the one that I had, it was smooth.
Oh.
All of the other ones had ridges, but mine was smooth. So I'm like, well, this one definitely
So
feels
it's the different
different.
one. Mm-hmm.
I don't know why it didn't have ridges, but it was a different one. So I was like, okay. And I reached my hand in and I went, oh, which key is the lucky key? Which key feels lucky to me? So I get some time to feel the keys.
Right.
Right. And everybody's like, oh, she's so cute. She's feeling for the lucky key.
And you're actually
And
like, I'm feeling for the one that's different than all the
that's
others.
actually what I was
Strategy.
doing.
Yes.
And I did. So I did get, I got that one. Everyone pulled their key. And now it's time to go start up the vehicle. And if the vehicle starts, then you win the car, of course. So I go first. And lo and behold, I stick the key in the car, I turn it, and it does not start.
Oh no.
And I'm like, ah, dang, okay, that was the wrong key. Oh my gosh. And I try again and I try again and it doesn't start. So, oh well. I feel a little defeated, but fine, whatever. And there were some other people who I had made friends with, and I was thinking, oh, I hope this other lady over here wins it. If I don't, since I didn't win it, I hope she does. And so
Right.
then they had like the second person try, doesn't turn for them, the third person, the fourth person. When the fourth person's car key didn't work, the fifth person was this lady with her kid or something, and they were jumping up and down, screaming, going like,
They just assumed that if
we
it didn't work for
won.
anybody else, it's got to be theirs. Yeah, of course.
So she said, do we even have to put the key in? And the PR lady said, oh, yes, you have to put the key in because that's part of the rules. It's got to crank up and we have to capture it on video. And
Oh yeah,
it's part of the promotion.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you have to get in and try the key. So they got in the car, they tried the key, and the car did not turn over. Right, or the engine didn't turn over. So, okay. So then the PR woman is like, all right, people, we're going to try this again. Like, y'all do know that you have to push the clutch in, right? To start the car.
Oh, no. That's all it was?
That's all
right.
it was.
So number one, back into the car.
Yeah. So back in the car. And this time I pushed the clutch in and then it just purred when I turned that key. and my ex was like, of course we were screaming and everything. And
it has all the elements of a great manifestation story because like at no point were you like, oh, I got to have it, or focusing on it overly, or like writing it down 500 times, or, you were just like, oh, that would be so fun. And I'm already like grateful that I won the trip to Miami. So this would be even cooler. And I'm just going to pretend like it's already mine. So,
yeah. And then it was mine. And I have so many stories like that I could tell, but that's probably my biggest win.
Yeah. Yep.
From the universe.
My, I think, so my biggest understanding of how manifestation works, obviously, now that I understand more of how the mind works, there's the neuroscience of it. But also in my own life, had a near-death experience, and that colored a lot of things and opened up my eyes to a whole lot of stuff that's going on sort of behind the matrix.
You did have a near-death experience, didn't you?
I did. Actually, I've had two, but I don't remember the second one as well. So, okay. But I remember the first one quite well.
Do you mind telling us like what happened?
We'll save that for another episode.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. Because it's long. And
okay. Gotcha. We'll save that for another episode.
But what it did show me as far as manifestation goes is, I guess this will be a teaser for that future episode, is that kind of like everything that we're experiencing here is almost like a play. Like Earth life is the play. And that manifestation happens here always. It's never turning off, but that it's not always immediate. And so in the other realm, the near-death place that I was, there was a whole thing that I witnessed that I'll explain another time. But one of the things that I came away with is like, you manifest there very rapidly because everything's energy.
Mm,
So whatever it is that you conceive of, it's immediate, right?
right.
Whereas
Because it's not
here,
in the material
right,
form.
denser energy
Hmm.
into matter, just things take longer. It's slower. Like we're moving through peanut butter here as opposed to
Yeah.
like just ether, right? So that's where a lot of my understanding of manifestation came from. But also I think it was in 2023, and I was really broke. And I was very scared and anxious about money and, trying to figure out the whole manifestation thing because I was like, I don't know what's going to happen if I can't make this work. Um, and so I went into a meditative trance state, self-hypnotic slash meditative, because, I had a question in mind. It wasn't just like meditating for the sake of it. And lo and behold, the consciousness of money came and talked to me. At first,
Ooh.
I assumed it was my imagination, right? Because I was like, wait, what is that?
Ooh, the consciousness of money.
Yes, of prosperity, of wealth, of abundance, right? It called itself the consciousness of money. And it was like,
Wow.
money's just energy. But so I said, okay, well, if you are in fact real, and let's just assume that you are for now. I can assume that I'm crazy later. But while I'm in this trance state, let's go ahead and have this conversation. And I was like, what do you need from me in order to flow into my life? And one of the responses came back of like, that's the first time you've ever asked me that. You've only ever told me what you need from me.
Mm.
You've never asked me what I need from you. So thank you so much for asking. And I will share what I need from you. And
Ooh,
it
that gave
said,
me the chills.
yeah, it was pretty eye opening when it happened. I mean, like when I came out of that meditation, I was like just mind blown by this
Mm.
conversation. But
Like, yeah, you've never asked me. Ooh.
yeah. So it sort of gave me this little story. And it was like, look, I show up in your life all the time, first of all. This narrative that you have that I'm not there is bullshit. It's BS. It's a belief system. And I was like, well, but I don't know how I'm going to pay rent next month. And it's like, well, it's not next month yet. Sit tight.
Mm.
But I want you to just like look around. And I was like, right now, you want me to open my eyes while I'm meditating? It's like, yes, open your eyes and look around. So I was like, okay, like who am I talking to? This is weird. But anyway, so I opened my eyes and I look around and it was like, I'm responsible for all of this roof over your
Mm.
head, this bed that you're sitting on, the cat food for your cat that's over there in the window, the heat
Chills.
that you have, the indoor plumbing, the everything, all of it. That's me. I
Indoor
did that.
plumbing is key. Yes.
Yes. We've talked about that before, but
We
yeah,
have.
gratitude. If you ever are like
Gratitude is
feeling like you're not finding something to be grateful for, consider what life was like just a couple hundred years ago when we didn't have indoor plumbing, and you can be grateful
exactly.
for that.
And
And I
all
don't,
of our modern conveniences, really, because even
yeah,
the greatest kings and queens that have ruled the earth have not lived so well as just like your average American, right?
yep, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we have so many luxuries and conveniences that we just take for granted every single day and don't even think about it. But yeah, just even 100 years ago, life was so different. But so getting back to the consciousness of money, it said, not only am I responsible for all of this, Kryssa, but I show up, like I knock on your door regularly. But instead of like, hey, how's it going? Let me invite you in and, we'll enjoy each other's company. You're like, oh, finally, you're here. Here's a mop. Here's a broom. Get to work. By meaning, that was the metaphor for like, just pay my bills, hurry up. You're late. Everything's late. Why did you
Mm,
take so long? And then you kick me out. It's like I don't even get a
mm.
chance to enjoy myself. And I went, oh my God, you're right. I totally do that. And then it went on to further say, and when do you think about me the most? When do you think about money the most? Is it when you have enough of me? And I was like, no, I guess
Nope.
not. I just sort of take that for granted, don't I? It's when I don't have enough of you. And it was like, yeah. And you get really stressed out and you get angry at me for not
Mm.
showing up. And like, so have you ever had a friend treat you like that? Do you like to hang out with that person? No. If somebody just
No.
treats you like they're a slave, just hurry up, get to work, do the thing, snap, snap. And then also every time you hang out with them, they're just like super negative and whiny and complainy. You're not going to want to hang out with them. So the consciousness of money was like, no, I go where I'm wanted. I go where I'm appreciated, not
That makes
where,
so much sense.
yeah. And it just,
Yeah.
so I was like, well, I was kind of raised poor. Like, I'm not really sure how to get into that mindset. And it said, there's a hack. Here's a hack. I'm going to show you the hack. Just look around. Anytime you need proof that I am in your life, just look around, find something that you love dearly, like your
Mhm.
pets, your children, or whatever, and realize that I am responsible for the fact that they are alive right now to a large degree.
Yeah. Gratitude opens so many doors.
Yes.
So many doors.
My life changed between that and then also having some past life regression sessions where I discovered that I have been doing hypnosis in other lifetimes. It just wasn't always
Ooh.
called that. Yeah. You
I
actually
can't
helped
wait
me
for
open the door on one of those too. It
Oh,
didn't
okay.
happen in the session, but because of the session, it opened a doorway for me to later experience it.
Cool. I
Yeah.
can't wait for that for that episode where we talk
Yes.
about past life regressions.
Yeah. Yes. That's going to be a fun one for sure. For sure. Um, but just, yeah, being able to communicate with the consciousness of money really altered my whole understanding of manifestation. And then the near death experience, like realizing that this is all just a play and that we're manifesting every moment of every day all the time based on whatever it is that we're
Yeah.
expecting. And the energy that
Which
we're
could be negative or
or
positive. It
positive.
doesn't
Exactly.
it's wherever your energy is.
Just
It's
like if you're
whatever
predicting
your
everybody to be a bad driver, you're going to
yeah,
see bad drivers everywhere.
that's right.
Yeah. Even though there's far more, maybe not great drivers, but at least like neutral
Right.
drivers.
So look for the good drivers. And oh, so that just reminded me of that quote that Mr. Rogers said. Look at all of the people coming together. Look at all the emergency workers. Look at all the
Yeah.
people coming to help, coming to the
Look for the
rescue.
helpers. Look for the
Look for the
helpers.
helpers.
Yes.
Look for the good.
I say
What
look for the glimmers, right? But like
yeah.
the glimmers live right next to the triggers all the
Yeah.
time.
All the
And it's just a
time.
matter of like what we focus
What you're
on.
focusing on.
Right. And so I want to give an example too or I guess it's a metaphor, kind of an example. If your reticular activating system, confirmation bias, and predictive processing is all looking for the negative, which is the default mode, right? Because we already
Mhm.
established survival. And then you're like over here waiting for threats, predicting threats, catastrophizing, dress
Yeah.
rehearsing threats, right? And then
Mhm.
there's these opportunities like coming right by you. These are all the glimmers, but you're focused over here saying, I knew that threat was there. But
Right. And
meanwhile, there's
you're
this
missing the
opportunity that's
glimmers.
like, hello.
And sometimes the glimmers are tiny and sometimes they come in a whisper and you need to be watching for them. And if you're
Exactly.
concentrating on all this noise, you're not going to hear the whispers.
And that's where it's reality creation. Because if we are focusing over here, predicting this, expecting this, validating this,
Mhm.
that becomes our reality. Meanwhile, there's
Yeah.
this really beautiful reality that's just next to us that we could just turn around and take a step towards
Yeah.
and have a completely different life.
Yeah. It's like, what timeline do you want to find yourself in? Right.
And I'm living proof of this. Like my life today is nothing like what I could have possibly imagined 6 years ago. I almost went on
Same.
disability 6 years ago. I had a lifelong bleeding disorder. I was coming out of the throes of agoraphobia. I wasn't agoraphobic in the traditional sense, but I still had a lot of anxiety about going
Mhm.
out. I could do it though, finally. So that's good. And
Mhm.
hypnotherapy was what cracked that open for me, by the way, after years and years and years of cognitive behavioral therapy and
Yeah.
EMDR and all kinds of stuff, all of which helped some, right? It's not like they didn't
Yeah.
help, but hypnotherapy was the thing that finally like, and then I was able to actually get out there.
Hypnotherapy saved my life, like
Yours too.
literally. So we should definitely do an episode just
Well,
on hypnotherapy.
yeah. Well, I think there might need to be a few.
Oh, definitely a few.
Given that we're
Definitely a
both
few.
professional hypnotherapists. But
Right.
um, but yeah, so my life today, like I'm no longer in chronic pain. I no longer have the lifelong bleeding disorder issue that I had. And that was
Wow.
as a direct result of self hypnosis that I did every single
That's
day for almost
amazing.
3 weeks. Yeah. And I'm not
Wow.
saying that everything is perfect because, like, so I'm no longer in chronic pain with sciatica, but I still have low back pain. So I'm not saying, like,
Mhm.
oh, it's mind over matter all the time. Like, there's some things that
Yeah.
I'm just not going to, whatever. I'm not saying,
Right.
oh, we can cure cancer. But we can
Yeah.
always shift our mindset into something more positive. We can always look for those glimmers and if the placebo effect and the nocebo effect can teach us anything, it is that we have an enormous amount of, I don't want to say control, but influence. We have an enormous amount of influence over the reality that we are creating based on what we're perceiving and
Absolutely.
responding to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm living in a little beach house on the coast now because I manifested that. I was like so tired of winter. After 3 decades in Montana, I was like, I need sunshine and an ocean. And I got this house sight unseen. I just knew that I was going to land in the right place. And it wasn't even really a question. I was just like, of course I am. I'm getting this calling from my higher self to move across the country. I don't necessarily know why. I didn't know what I was moving for. People kept asking me, why are you moving? And I was like, I don't know how to answer that question, except that I got to go. And that's where I got to be. And maybe we'll have an episode where we talk about light workers and grid workers, because it turns out that that was why I had to move.
Oh, yeah.
Anchoring in light to this particular location.
Oh, I would love to.
We'll build up into that one.
We're just creating all of these episodes for you guys.
When you and I first started talking in 2022 and the conversation never really ended, this is why. Like every time we start talking, we're just like, oh, and then there's this, and then there's that, and then there's this.
Right. Yeah, we have we're not going to run out of topics. So
never.
We have no lack of curiosity, right? Or imagination. But I've got one more manifestation story to tell you before we end the show. It's about how I met he's my ex-husband now, but we were married for 25 years. So, and we had a really actually great marriage. We had a beautiful marriage really up until the last 2 years, which that will be another episode.
I think that should be an episode too, because I don't feel like the measure of success of a relationship is how long it lasts and whether it lasts forever. I feel like they have natural expiration dates. So like the relationship itself can be wonderful from beginning to end. Yeah. And just because it ends doesn't mean it was bad.
It had run its course.
Right.
Actually, probably 10 years before we got divorced.
But if you're raising kids and stuff, there's like other,
there's other
stuff to go on.
Right.
Yeah. But, okay. So anyway, how did you manifest this husband of yours?
Okay. So I had dated a narcissist psychopath for about 2 years.
I married one of those actually.
Yeah, we should have we're going to have a show about this as well. But we can get into it.
And we're going to have like issues of patriarchy woven through many of these episodes, just to give you guys a forewarning.
Absolutely. So yeah, we'll put a pin in that, but we'll get back to it in another episode because it's I think it's worth a longer discussion about. But I had come out of this horrible relationship, and I almost married the guy, and I was just lucky. Got lucky that I didn't end up marrying him. But I just got to the point where I was like, I don't ever want to be in a relationship. Like, I'll go out, I'll have fun. I'm going to go and just hang out with my girlfriends more. I'm going to do more traveling. I'm going to do more of the things that I love and just being myself and not feeling like I'm being controlled or whatever. Right.
I love that you made yourself the main character in your own life so early on. I didn't learn that until my 40s. So
yeah, well, I think it was probably really my late 30s that I really felt more comfortable in my own skin. But at this time it was really like, okay, I'm just done with relationships, and I'm just going to be single, and I'm going to be happy, and that's just going to be the life that I live. Right. And because freedom is important to me. Right. Just I'm free to be myself. Yeah. And I know that I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. We're all individuals.
It took me a while to figure that out too. Like I had to overcome some serious people pleasing there for a little while. So yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Not everybody's cup of tea, and not supposed to be.
Yeah. Not supposed to be. And so at this time, of course, now I'm going out and I'm having fun, and I'm doing things my way, and I'm having a ball, and my energy is high, and I'm just dating for fun. So anyone that asked me to go out on a date, I'm like, sure, yeah, I'm on a date, but don't expect anything from it.
Yeah,
Right?
not a relationship, but I'll go
This
out
is
with
not a
you. Yeah.
relationship. Yeah. When my ex asked me uh when we went on our first date, I told him, I said, don't get too attached to me. I was like, because I'm at the time I thought I wasn't ever going to be the marrying type. um, and I said, I'm not the marrying type. Um, don't I don't want a relationship. I just want to date and have fun.
So this sounds like the opposite of a manifesting a husband story. So Stephanie, where are you going with this?
Right, right. So later that night, I guess I found this out years later. He called his mom and he told her that he had met the woman he was going to marry.
Also, he manifested you.
I think it was because I think I just let go of I let go of wanting to be married, and um and thank God I did not marry that narcissistic
Yeah,
psychopath, which
that
I
would have
came very
derailed
close
your
to
whole
it because
life.
of all of the expectation. So at this time I'm in my late 20s, and there's all this sort of pressure on you, or at least it was back in my day,
Yeah.
um, to get married and have children by a certain age. And to do the things and to have the house and to have the everything. So by the way, this is also sort of how I manifested the boyfriend that I have now, who is awesome and excellent and wonderful. And I actually even ordered him from the universe. I wrote down a list of
That's
everything that I
great.
wanted in a partner. And I wrote
Oh, I got to
at
see this list.
oh yeah, I still have it.
We still have it. It's
Um
fantastic.
it's in my office because I was in my office, and I was going through my divorce, and I was like, okay, I'm going to be single for like at least 2 years. But when I'm ready to have a relationship, this is the exact man that I want. And I wrote down, ask and you shall receive all around the edges of the page. And I wrote down about 50 qualities that I wanted. So, and physical qualities, yes. And also, of course, how I wanted his heart to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
But everything, like um I wanted him to be self-sufficient, and I wanted him to be like very supportive of me, and I wanted him to play the guitar was on there. So look, every single detail that I could think of. And yes, I don't want him to be good looking, right? That was on there too, because that's
Yeah.
important to me. I wanted him to want to please me, and I wanted to please him. So,
You know what I love about this is that you have a list of the qualities that you wanted,
yeah,
but most people have an ongoing list. They might not write it down, but an ongoing list of the qualities
of
they
what they don't
don't
want,
want.
of what they
And
don't want. Right.
and here, like when I'm, teaching my
Yeah.
hypnosis students, I use the metaphor of like when you're in a client session and you're asking them what their goals are, they will often start with what they don't like, what they don't want.
Hmm.
And here's the metaphor. Imagine that you're getting into an Uber or a taxi or whatever, and they're like, okay, where do you want to go? And you're just like, well, not here.
Yeah,
But then,
right.
like, okay, but where do you want to go? I don't know, just not
Yeah,
here. So that's not helpful. So you actually, being the brilliant
right.
hypnotherapist that you are, you wrote down the qualities that you do want. And I'm going to guess that you probably didn't like look at that paper day after day, repeating each thing and
No,
focusing on it and all that. You probably just did
Krista,
it.
I folded it. I put it
Mhm.
in the drawer of my office, and in 24 hours, he showed up.
24 hours. You were
Yes, and
like,
I'm not
I
gonna.
don't want this for 2 years. And then
Yes,
because
yes,
your manifestation
yes.
game is so dialed in.
I know, I know, and I even told him. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be single for 2 years, and before I do make any kind of commitment, and um, but it didn't really take long for me to commit to him because he just
Because he
really
had
has.
all of the qualities that you
Yeah,
wanted.
he has all the qualities that I couldn't have asked for. I mean, he doesn't play the guitar currently, but he did play the guitar once in a band when he was younger. But that's like the least important thing that I even cared about on the list.
Right.
He had all of the other qualities that I wanted.
You just
Uh,
totally reminded
yeah.
me of something. So, I mean, I don't know if this happens to everybody, but it for sure happens to me. And I just hadn't really considered it until now. But I think that I mean, we're always manifesting. We've established that. But I think that the universe like does just go ahead and give me the things that I think I want from time to time just to see,
Mhm.
like, do you? Because I was on vacation in Ocracoke, which is just like this tiny little island off the coast of North Carolina in the Outer
Mhm.
Banks. And I was just daydreaming about how cool it would be to live there. And I didn't necessarily want to move from where I'm at, but I was just daydreaming about how cool it'd be to live there. And like I was talking to my mom because I took a vacation with my mom. Yeah. So I was just like daydreaming about it, like, ah, that would be so cool. What a beautiful little island community. And da, da, da.
Mhm.
Anyway, on the last day that we were there, out of absolutely nowhere, we decided to go grab coffee before we got on the ferry. I think we're a little early for the ferry. So we went grab coffee and we went into the coffee shop. And then there was this couple that had two kittens in like a cat carrier thing. And it's like, I have to say hi. It's kittens.
Mhm.
Okay. So I go up and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, like tell me their names. Da, da, da. And they were just moving there. And it turns out that the house that they were moving into has a carriage house in the back that was for rent that was like perfect for me.
Wow.
And my mom stood there like, I mean, you told me that you could manifest, Kryssa, but like, that's crazy. We were just talking about this and then boom, there it is. And I took it seriously for a little while. I was really, really considering it. Um, and then basically all that happened was like I just didn't have the energy to go through with the whole move so soon after my
Mhm.
last one. So I was like, it's
Mhm.
okay because you know what? I can manifest it again in
You
the
can do it
future.
again. You
Yeah.
can do it again.
And
Yeah.
then there was the huge hurricane that came and like
Mm,
really took out part of Ocracoke. So I was really grateful that I didn't do that.
right.
But I feel like yeah, it was kind of like the universe going like, Kryssa, it's your playground. Like now that you've
Yeah.
cracked the code, you can just do this. So
Right.
you just let me know and we'll work together because it's a collaborative thing. And I think that's
Yeah.
another part that people miss out on with
Yes.
manifestation. It's not just you, it's you in
Mhm.
collaboration with the energies all around you.
Well, and people get stuck thinking, "Oh, I this has to happen first and that has to happen first before I
Right.
can get it."
Or it has to be
You know,
specifically this way, or,
or it has to be this way, or they feel like they have to control
right.
to get the outcome. They think they have to control every step, and then they can't see them doing, "Oh, I can't." Like,
I see that so much with the money when I help people with,
uh-huh.
working, releasing blocks and obstacles to abundance and prosperity and stuff is I'm like, well, I just want you to imagine how great it's going to feel when you have that money. And they're like, well,
Yeah.
where's it going to come from? I'm not going to get a raise at my job. I'm like, well, there's so many, money is just
Yeah.
energy. It can come and
Right.
go and flow in and out. And like, who knows where it's going to come from, but
And
that's not what we're worried about.
money loves movement for
It
sure.
does. And in order for it to hear you, though, you need to start just having fun, daydreaming about how great it's going to be and feel when it is there instead of how is it going to get there. That's not your job. Your job isn't to worry about worry because that never helps
Yeah.
how it's going to get
Right.
there. It's just to like, let's say that it's already happened, just like with you in the
Mhm.
car. That's how it's going to get there. My life has
Right.
changed so much just from like those few little things. And so with this partner,
Yeah, so I think it was letting go of the out like I wrote down the what I wanted, right? Because in the past, I think in my mind, it's gonna take the universe 2 years
to
to
find
bring
this
to
person and
find
bring
this
him to
guy
me. And
anyway.
right,
At
yeah.
least 2 years,
And
maybe longer,
meanwhile, he's
but
just like a couple blocks over.
exactly, he's like the next town over.
That's so funny.
And I literally met him 24 hours later, and then like a week after that, like he became my boyfriend.
Well,
And
I have
so
been so opposed to being in a partnership at all
yeah.
that I'm now really questioning whether or not I ever should have said this. I've jokingly said that the like the right person for me is not even going to be human; it's going to be alien.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
now I'm like, maybe I need to
Right.
dial that back
Yeah.
because who knows? We're in the age of disclosure. It's not beyond the realm of
Right.
possibility for me to date an alien now.
It's really not. That's another episode. I would
That's
love to
another
talk about
yes.
aliens in another episode.
Well, all right. Well, thank you so much for this lovely conversation. We're going to have so many more, and we want to make sure that we bring you with us. And please, like, drop a comment down below if you're watching this on YouTube, or you can just send us an email with any suggestions or ideas of future shows that you would like us to share, to talk about.
Absolutely. And especially since this is our flagship show, it would really help us out if you could also hit like and describe as well.
Or subscribe.
Subscribe. What did I say?
Describe. But you can describe how much you like it when you subscribe.
Let me start over with that.
No, we're keeping that blooper in.
No. Like and subscribe, just to help us get the algorithm out there. If you want to see more shows from us, we would love to have them. But we need your help. You are a part of our community, and you are going to actually help fuel this show.
And we're manifesting you. So we would also like to support what you're manifesting. So go ahead and think about, what is that thing that you would really like to have, and tell us about it. Just whatever that daydream is, something simple, something fun, something like, oh, even if it's unrealistic, who cares? It doesn't even have to be a material thing. It can be a feeling. It can be an experience. It can be, a memory that you'd like to create.
So it's not about manifesting harder. It's about noticing what your system has already decided is true and choosing something different.
Right. You're not broken. You're just running old programs, and programs can change. If your reality feels off, don't start by trying to fix the world. Just start by getting curious about the state that you're in when you're looking at the world.
The world you experience isn't just happening to you, it's happening through you, for you, because of you. And that means you have way more influence than you think.
Thank you so much, everyone. And please like and subscribe.
Subscribe.
Subscribe. All right. Kryssa here. And hey, if you want to communicate with the consciousness of money and find out what it needs from you, and also identify and release any obstacles or blocks that you have towards prosperity, then please just head on over to KryssaMarieBowman.com or TwoWokeChics.com, and we can go ahead and get you scheduled in for a session.